Let me first talk about Instigate Training Center Foundation, that is the founder of Real School. So Instigate Training Center started operating since 2004 in Yerevan, and initially it was the training department of Instigate. Later it was reorganized into a non-profit organization and is running trainings, engineering trainings for graduate students and everyone who wants to enter into IT market. Instigate Training Center has a mission, the following missions. So the main mission is the elimination of the gap between industry and education sectors. It has a mission to establish the demographic disbalance between demographic, in culture, and economic sectors of Armenia. It helps Armenia to recover the demographic and economic disbalance between rural areas and the capital. It has also a main mission of the appreciation of national values of Armenia. So since during the whole history of its activity, we understood that the reason of this balance in the mentioned sectors are neither in geographical issues nor in financial problems, but the main problem is in moral, in spiritual sector. And we emphasize the role of a lifelong education as a long-term effective solution for this. In 2004-05, Instigate started its first training in Gyumri, the second largest city of Armenia. And upon completion of trainings, as soon as we had a sufficient number of trained resources, Instigate started its first subsidiary in Gyumri. And currently we have about 20 skilled engineers working in Gyumri, and we are running our own training center that provides resources to the company. In 2005, we analyzed the results of our activity in Gyumri and decided to continue our further expansion only in regions. So in the following years, we opened our training centers in Vanadzor, Stepanakert, Gori, Sakhalkalaki, and upon successful completion of trainings, Instigate opened its subsidiaries in these regions. Some of these subsidiaries later and some of our products later were spun off into individual companies and were led by graduates of our former employees. So far, we had more than 1,000 graduates, and about 70% are working in Instigate or its product or subsidiary companies. More than 40% are working in other IT leading companies and even in worldwide, like BMW, Nokia, VMware. Later we decided to change our strategy in regional development and decided to help the establishment of IT companies in regions in other way. We decided to help to set up the whole process of the trainings, to implement the setup to create companies in regions without any further legal relationship with Instigate. And like this, we started trainings in Yerevan, Kapan, Hrazdan, Sisyan, and instigated the graduates to later found and manage these companies. These projects failed, and we understood that the reason of this failure was that these leaders of these companies had not the same dream as we. So these are the product companies we have now in Yerevan and in 5 cities of Armenia, also in Tbilisi. In parallel to engineering trainings, we emphasize the role of many community and social projects that we implement together with our partners. For example, we encourage the classical orthography, national dances. We implement open free source education tools programs into schools, universities. So we made websites of Armenian famous people who had significant role in Armenian history, art, military, or cultural sectors. So in 2016, we decided to initiate another educational program called Real School. So we implement this project together with Union of IT Enterprises of Armenia, and the main goal of this program is to train to have resources who will be able to enter into high-tech innovative sector at the age of 90 or 21. Because boys need to go to the army. So the education lasts 4 years instead of typical 3 years, but the results are comparable with skills that students get upon completion of BS in Armenian University. Our further plans are to have real schools in all communities of Armenia, and that's why we do not have champion teachers there. We rely on people with good personality, but who can, together with students, make researches, lead the project, and that's how we can have the similar project in all communities of Armenia. Well, we started this project last year with 20 students, and for this year we have about 42 students a great part of the training of the education is traveling inside Armenia, is to meet people, to take real projects from the existing real projects and start implementing these projects. So in the current years we need to have these schools in all communities of Armenia. So that's all. Thank you.
So Gohar, as
just some photos from our educational programs, and that's it.
So Gohar, what's the requirements for the students to attend any of these schools?
The admission is done based on general education of Armenia, from 1 to 9 grade of the Armenian education system, and we just have an interview with applicants, just like an employee and the employer. We just decide, are we interested in cooperating with this student in the coming years or not. Students just need to learn very well in schools, and that's enough, and have enough motivation.
And do they have to pay anything to attend your schools?
The education is free of charge.
So education is free, which is great, because this is like really applicable and marketable things that they learn, right?
Yeah.
How would you compare, like, is it an after school program? Is it?
It's it's a college. It's a separate school. And the education lasts from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it's only our school that students should attend.
So actually your schools are within schools, or is it like in a separate?
It's a separate school.
So the students have finished 9th grade.
Yeah.
And then they come.
Yeah.
And then they apply to get accepted to your schools.
Yeah. They learn 4 years. And as soon as they accomplish the training, the education, they are enough skills to work in IT.
So I understand, besides teaching them marketable skills, you also do work quite a bit based on value systems with these students,
sure.
right? Can you talk about a little bit about the value systems that you try to teach them?
So we really appreciate that they learn, they know who they are. They know their own history, culture, values, national values. So they are people to whom you can talk about everything, who can represent your company everywhere, who can talk with your customer. Yeah, that's what we emphasize very much, more than the engineering skills, the professional skills, because these skills are gained through work, and initially they need to become real people to rely on, and then just become professional.
So I understand in Yerevan, there's a lot of understanding about the value of an IT education and stuff like that. But when you go into the regions, like when you go to Achal Kalak, or you go to down in the south, like Merri or Sisian, tell me about what type of experiences you guys have when you're trying to talk about things that are like globally important, globally in demand, but they're the kids sitting in Sisian, and you're trying to tell them about these technologies. Can you share that? That would be great.
It's almost the have situation in all regions of Armenia.
That's what I'm sorry, say again?
It's the same situation in the whole regions of Armenia. So we have the same problem everywhere. So when we will have the school when we will have a duplicated school in other regions, we will need to implement to have just the same programs there, to have the same spirit, insert this spirit in students there too.
So how do you deal with all the different dialects of Armenia? Like in Artsakh you have to speak a certain way, and in Sisian a certain way, and in Achal Kalak a certain way. Is it like
by the way, we have a project like this. So we took fairy tales, and in every dialect we have. So we have many fairy tales in different dialects, yeah, and we registered them and spread so that everyone hears these fairy tales in dialects of different regions of Armenia. It's, I don't know, we speak just the same language.
Well, thank you so much, Gohar, and your team. I think it's so important that you guys are teaching children the ability to indigenously create technology just in their backyard, just in their villages. And I think that's very inspiring. I've known about you know the Instigate schools for a number of years, and I think it's so wonderful that you're able to get kids after ninth grade to kind of compete on a global scale. And I understand that they work on stuff for Disney and BMW and a bunch of global companies, and this is software and support that's happening in the regions, in the villages of Armenia, and that's pretty cool. So
yes, it's very important for us that students live and learn, study in the regions they are now. It's very important.
All right, give a round of applause to Gohar and Instigate. Thank you so much.